Attention S&P artists, are you looking to take your business to the next level? It's time to fully systemize your studio for growth with the ultimate sales and marketing platform for S&P artists, HighLead. With HighLead, you get everything that you need to save time and effortlessly generate more consultations and bookings on autopilot. And guess what? HighLead is not just a system, but also one of the largest Google ad agencies in the world for S&P professionals. Imagine having a marketing strategy that's tailor-made for the S&P industry, driving high-quality leads right to your studio. Say goodbye to the struggle of finding the latest marketing trend. HighLead has you covered. Invested into your training? Check. Invested into your equipment and studio setup? Check. Now it's time to invest into your marketing strategy. Don't risk your marketing budget on anything else until you've experienced HighLead's growth system and Google Ads services. Don't pass on this special opportunity for listeners of the Scalp Solutions Podcast. Visit GoHighLead.com today to book a free demo now and join the hundreds of S&P artists who've embraced HighLead to thrive in their businesses. On the free no-obligation demo call, a member of HighLead's team will answer all of your questions and help you unlock the potential of your S&P studio by getting you more bookings. Visit GoHighLead.com today. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Scalp Solutions Podcast. Today, we have an exciting episode featuring two special guests who are making waves in the S&P industry. First, we have my man, Mr. Sam Garcia from Santana Co., the first S&P sponsored artist for Stylecraft. They are a company renowned for its innovative hair tools. And joining him is Eddie Barber, a representative from Stylecraft, who they're going to share insights into the company's bold venture into the S&P industry, the first of its kind in the hair tool sector. And together, they're going to discuss the groundbreaking partnership, the impact on the S&P community, and what the future holds for this dynamic collaboration. So let's welcome Sam Garcia and Eddie Barber to the podcast.
Heck yeah. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. My name is Mr. Eddie Barber, and I'm kind of known from YouTube as the YouTube Barber Academy. We have 160,000 subscribers, and we're just rocking out, making all these videos and, bringing that education to you guys live. And, that's pretty much about me and my man Sam here. Go ahead, bro.
Heck yeah. My name's Sam Garcia. I go by the SMPG. I'm located in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. I'm a Scalp Micropigmentation artist and an educator. Thank you again, David, for having us. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. It's the second time around, so I'm always excited. And I love hearing all the episodes you have. It's always really cool hearing everyone that you got on here and how diverse it is. So, again, thank you for having us.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. You know what, man? You're the first guy that I had 2 times, man. What's going on? Once they see this, they're gonna be like, "Yo, Dave, for real, bro? Like, how much this guy paid you?" I'm gonna be like, homie, send me a nice machine, bro.
Yeah, couple shirts, chocolate. No play.
Speaking of machines, Sam, can you share your journey to becoming the first S&P sponsored artist for Stylecraft, and what's the name of the machine?
The Shadow. It's called The Shadow.
Talk to us about how'd you even get this deal, this sponsorship? Because I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
All right. There's been a lot of us. We've been knocking on doors. We've been trying to get in the game.
the kid yourself, right? We
Yeah.
hitting up all these because we're all barbers, and we're like, hey, we're using your tools. You know, how can we get some representation? Why do you guys jump in on this industry? It's lucrative, it's promising. It hasn't been happening.
Yeah.
You had some sort of secret sauce. I don't know if it's that amazing hairdo that you got.
Yeah.
But how did that relationship develop?
One thing is, I'm gonna always be honest and transparent. Since the first time you had me on, I'm never gonna sit here and be like, this, and make it sound like I'm God's gift to earth. But man, just really hard work and dedication. And that sounds really bland, but that's the short answer. But man, just busting my butt. What I was doing within my second year, when we first spoke, I was actually doing a lot of education in Texas, and I started getting out there more. Hey, let me go to California, Oregon, these different states, and start doing education. So there were classes, which was crazy because I had a class actually in Portland, Oregon that was pretty full. We had like 10 students. Then all of a sudden we had students like, hey, you can't make it, this and that. And I was like, you know what? There was only 3 students that stayed in that class. And I was like, I gotta show honor and integrity. And I still gotta go. It's not always about the money. I went out there, I showed honor and integrity. And what happened was one of the students in there ended up being one of the first guys that had ran with Stylecraft since 2016. His name's E.T. the Barber. So I taught him SMP, and he goes, hey, man, dude, you're the future. Like, you, this. We landed up kicking it off really well. Had dinner like after the class and just kind of told him my story, told him his story. And he was just like, bro, I need to introduce you to the owner. Like, I think we're coming out with this machine. I think you'd be perfect for this. Introduced me to Austin. Austin's the owner of Stylecraft. We kicked it off last year is when we met, and he was telling me his vision. I was telling him my vision, telling him how, with all humbleness, I've been in this. September will be 3 years. So I told him I'm one of the fastest growing artists from X, Y, and Z and everything I've accomplished. And he was just like, I think you'll be the perfect fit. So really just busting my butt, taking chance. And even when the money might not seem like, I said it the first time, yes, it's so much money to invest to get good in this industry, from education and then too, if you want to be an educator, traveling, like I just said, I just got in Chicago, I got a class tomorrow. So, but really just, that's how it started, was meeting someone, networking, getting out there. I met ET at BarberCon LA, and just kept pushing the brand, kept guerrilla and footwork, marketing.
Outstanding. That's awesome, man. You were perfect, timing and networking, man. That's beautiful, brother, what this transpired to. My next question is for you, Eddie. What is it that motivated Stylecraft to even venture into the SMP industry, and how exactly does that align to, the company's goals?
Well, when it comes to Stylecraft, man, like, you wouldn't believe some of these meetings we had. We'll just throw some stuff at the wall, see if it sticks. Like, they are really willing to take some risks and try some crazy stuff. And we have our development meetings, and I gotta say, Austin is really like a visionary. Like, he's not a normal, like in some ways, this is not like a normal company. This is like a mom and pop's company, and they can move quick. They can make decisions on the fly. And when they started talking about this, I was like, yo, we'd be the first people to do this. I think that would be so cool. And I don't really understand why it hasn't been done. Like, when it was almost like a natural thing. Like, why wouldn't we do this? Right. So yeah, that was kind of like the thought there behind there. And then linking up with the SMPG, this dude works hard. I mean, you should see him at the shows. He's always got somebody at our booth. He's always got his own booth. He's got, all his guys that he's got to take care of and everything. So I got a lot of respect for him and what he's brought, because we couldn't do this without the education. Most of the people on our team are not all S&P artists. So that's where he fills in the gap for us.
And what has that partnership been like for you guys so far, Eddie, between you and Sam?
I'd say it's been pretty awesome, man. Right from the jump, when we met each other in Chicago, I was actually there. I was there on a film mission, so I wasn't even working on stage or nothing. And I got to meet him a little bit. Him, Big Chris, Sway, the whole. We linked up, man. I felt like we just started vibing right away, and since then we've been to 3-4 shows together at this point. ACT, and it's just been growing strong. And I'm kind of like up on stage trying to help push it. I'm always trying to get my guys like to, point it out, whenever you see people around the booth, whenever you see people going near the machine, like, help them out, answer some questions, and get one of Sam's guys over here so they can walk them through that process.
Outstanding. And Sam, how has being sponsored by Stylecraft impacted your work and your visibility in the S&P industry?
Shoot, I appreciate it, Eddie. Thank you. It's been crazy. It's been an honor and a blessing, but it's a tough hill to climb. I was talking to one of the reps from Stylecraft, and there's always going to be a little pushback to something new, and so there's been a little pushback, but there's also been so many people that are like, we're interested in it, we're this, and honestly, it was crazy because I was like, I want to bridge the gap between barbers, cosmetologists, tattoo, and the people that I thought were going to be, because most of my class is barbers. Right. And so I thought, there is a lot of love from the barbers, but I didn't expect so many tattoo artists actually and cosmetologists to like it a little more. So it kind of just blew my mind a little bit. But it's been awesome. Like Eddie said, when I go out there, I bring my team. So I'm not going out there solo. I want to make sure that we can help answer any questions possible because it's something new. And in one question, you can sit there for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes talking to someone about it. But it's been cool. And we've had a lot of help actually from Follicle as well. So Follicle's backed this up. Matt and Keith have even came out to CT Expo to represent and just kind of help push this forward as well. So it's been cool and it's been a journey, but I've loved it. It's been wild to step on stage. As I tell people, I was a barber for 8 years. And I made good money. I was not some cool dude that was on a flyer or anything. So I didn't make it as a barber. So to make it now as an S&P artist in the barber industry in a whole nother gap on stage with people that I still look up to and that I would look up to. And now I'm like sitting there next to Taylor Cutts and Vic Torino that have like 1 million followers. I'm like, this is crazy.
I was trying to be here as a barber. Now I'm an S&P artist and I'm here.
Yeah, for real.
Eddie, this next question is for you. What makes Stylecraft's approach to S&P unique compared to the other companies? Because there are other companies that are focusing on just the S&P industry, especially predominantly coming from the tattoo. So like where do you guys see yourself being different aside coming from a totally different industry?
Yeah, I think that's kind of our biggest strength, is because most of the people who are doing this are barbers. A lot of times they're providing that haircut along with that service to kind of show them how the ultimate final look is going to be. And having that client base basically of barbers who are coming to purchase tools and stuff from us that have that interest, it's just, we have that ability to kind of, through the education, really get that out there to more people, get more people kind of interested and revved up about it. And then, as you guys both know, it's not like every tattoo artist really understands exactly how to make a perfectly straight edge up or, do some of this stuff. They probably even look down on some of this stuff to some degree because they're artists, but they don't understand that this is a whole different type of artwork. And this is something that a lot of people are really down and doing. And in our culture, in our barber culture, it really just, I think it just makes a lot of sense for it to come from a barber company versus some of the other companies, which I'm sure they're great and I'm sure they're doing their thing. But I mean, this feels like it should have already happened. And it's, makes me happy that it is happening here with us,
Yeah, for sure. That was a great answer. I appreciate that perspective too. And yes, I agree. Like I'm surprised it took as long as it did for this to even happen. And I'm sure along the way, probably even now, there's been some challenges like integrating into the S&P industry. Can you tell for you, Eddie, like what has been one of those challenges with that integration into the to the S&P industry?
Well, I think it's just the learning threshold. Like people can come out of barber school, buy a tool and reasonably go out and use it, and they're not going to hurt nobody or cause any kind of like permanent long-term issues. So we got to get over that learning curve. And that's really where Sam comes in, because if we don't have some kind of dedicated learning process to teach those individuals who come up that are interested in it, then they're not going to want to buy it. People don't buy things that when they don't feel comfortable for it. If you don't feel comfortable about how to use something, you're probably not going to pick it up and use it. So ultimately the biggest hurdle we face with the S&P is the point of entry to it. They got to get educated.
So Sam, now let's get to you. What has been a hurdle that you've faced integrating, with Stylecraft into the S&P industry?
A good hurdle, I would say, is, man, I think I was just talking about this with someone, and I was telling him, I was like, Stylecraft is huge. Is a big company compared to Santana & Co. and Dallas Fort Worth. We're a great company, we're not as near as Stylecraft. So one thing I like working with Stylecraft is push me. They're like, hey, we're running full force. We're in a Ferrari. They're like, we get it. You're in a Mercedes, but we need you to get in a Lambo too. I'm like, oh, shoot. So online training, I just came out with online training. Austin's like, I need you to come out with online training. I'm like, you got 3-4 months. I'm like, okay, let's do that. So it's like Eddie said, the education, providing that education, providing myself to be on tour now. I was doing a class once a month to now I'm doing it 2 to 4 times a month. It's wild, and going to expos. So it's been crazy to have to evolve my schedule more, but it's a blessing. So a lot of people think, oh, you're on a machine and this and that. And it's like, whoa, there's a lot of work that comes with it.
There's a lot of ability.
And yes, and honestly, I realized it, but until you're doing it, then it really kind of just hits. But it's been really, really cool. It's challenged me to push myself and my team. And I also know starting next month, Stylecraft's going to start sending out some of my team members to start doing look and learns and more education all across the country. So I know that's going to be really cool and really positive to start pushing the S&P industry in these schools. So
dope. So essentially, right, being held accountable, right, has put you where it's kind of like, you wanted this, right? But it's kind of like those things you got to be careful what you wish for. But right now you live in that. I mean, obviously you're making it happen, but I could only imagine stressors where it's kind of like, oh shit, like I'm expected to produce now, or I could essentially destroy something amazing that's in the making. And it's essentially, it's still in its infancy, if I'm correct, right, Eddie? Because this is the first machine that you guys have put out. But are you guys already kind of like in the lab thinking about like what's gonna be next? Because the industry is always like, I mean, I see Sam smiling. It's probably you reach it.
I want you to ask these questions.
but I mean, I just know that's just how it is, because it's always like something come out. You know what I mean? Like as a business, you always ready. You got that plan B, like, oh, we ready to hit. This is nothing. We just getting started. This is just a taste. This is our entry.
Let me tell you something. Let me take this one for a second. So when I started messing around with Stylecraft, they had the hitter trimmer and an absolute zero foil shaver, right? Okay, that was cool. We started using that. Man, 1 year later, it was like 5 more machines. 1 year later, it was like 10 more machines. Now we got like 75, 80 SKUs. And we developed stuff. Like when we start rolling, like it's crazy how quickly they're willing to start working on developing the next product. We always have our ear to the ground. We're listening to the barbers. We're listening to the S&P artists. And when they come to us with like potential improvements, we're not the type of company that's like, yo, just tell us what we want to hear. Just tell us what we want to hear. We're not that. Like we want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly. And if you look at our stuff, we continue to try to make improvements. Like everybody's going to make mistakes. There's going to be bumps down the road. But as we go, we're continuing to listen. We're continuing to develop. So anybody who thinks that we're not looking at what the next thing coming down the pipe is, you'd be crazy. It's confidential. I can't talk about it, but I'm just saying,
So that's a really, really good answer.
So by this winter, we're gonna get a machine with Sam's face on it. You touch the eyes, the power and shit like that. Yeah.
The bicep.
You pick it up, you get big biceps.
That's dope. So now, Sam, how do you envision the future of S&P evolving with the involvement of companies like Stylecraft? Because you guys essentially are setting the standard, right? Sam, you are essentially setting the standard. Like I don't know if it's yet hit you where you're like, oh shit, I'm the first one that's done this. One, I'm gonna get fucking shitload of haters, and we've discussed this offline several times, even just within the industry, right? Because
Yeah.
people are going to feel like I've been doing this XYZ amount of years, you know, why the hell, you know, does he get this opportunity XYZ?
Yeah. That was a big question. I would say 100% there's been a lot of positivity, but there's been tremendous negativity as far as people that were in my own circle. Crazy people I never thought, I'm gonna even say family, friends, people I started running with, and people around me that were even that were like supporting me. I just don't want to say names, so I'm trying to be real careful, but that were supporting me. And
Yeah, you
now,
don't have to
yeah, no, I won't say names, but I'm trying to, make sure but
be
give
a
you the honest
politician.
answer. Yeah, I just want to give you the honest answer. But so I think for me that was mind blowing because I'm like, yo, we started together since day one, and it's so that. But there's also been I've met a lot of great people on the way as well on this journey. But I think the future for scalp micropigmentation and what it's going to do and the plans that I have, this is just the beginning because I have some crazy plans that has never been done before that is going to take over. I truly believe more, but I also know other competitors as far as other clipper companies have reached out to me, and I've said it before in our meetings in Stylecraft. I'm like, yo, other clipper companies have reached out. And there's some big names, and they're like, we want to collaborate, we wanted this, and I'm like, that's cool, but just know I'm backing up my Stylecraft, Follicle, Santana and Co. Those Follicle's been Follicle's been very, very positive and it's been awesome to have those guys back me up. But it's been crazy. It's been a journey, you know.
Without a doubt, we're gonna have some competition down the pipe. And realistically, I see this as a good thing. Like, the competition has been great all the way around because it's gonna bring more people to the fold, more people to the industry, and then people are gonna become aware of our products through the other products. So it's just like what happened with everything else that we released. We are coming from a big disadvantage, as in a lot of these companies have 100-year head start on us, 100-year head start. Yet we're still out here, you know what I mean? And we're making our name for ourselves. So when this competition comes down the pipe, it's not necessarily going to be a bad thing. I think it's actually going to be a good thing for everybody to have more choices in the market, and then the cream's going to rise to the top, and we'll just continue to innovate, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, like you said, competition is necessary because that's essentially what's going to draw the attention and everybody wins. It's just, I feel like is business people with small mindsets that look at competition as a flaw and don't realize that there's always a way to capitalize off of competition. And there's always from a positive perspective. So I got another question for you here, Eddie. What about for you? What do you see? What do you envision like the future of Stylecraft and how it's gonna evolve in S&P? Because again, it's in its infancy. I know you guys are probably already cooking something up in the lab, but like at some point, like what's the big picture that you see for the company and what it's gonna do for the S&P industry?
Like, basically the way I kind of see this shaping up is I hope that we can continue to leverage all the different people that we work with. Stylecraft has a vast network of influencers and educators and people like Sam, and using those people as an advantage to help us to develop new ideas, new thoughts, new things. Some of the stuff that Sam and his team have brought up in our meetings have been fantastic, and I think it's definitely going to take a lot of people by surprise. So, overall, I really hope that we can continue to grow this market. I think it's a really cool and trending kind of thing. It's just we have to continue to facilitate the education that gets that person the comfort level they need to go out and perform those services. And honestly, really, it should be a handshake deal. They should be investing in this so that they could turn around and make profit for themselves in the end. So we provide that really good tool, that really good education. They got that comfort level. They hit the field, and we want to see people. We want to see people get success. You know, at the end of the day, we don't want to sell people things they don't need. That's the worst thing you could do as a company. We talk about this in our meetings. Like, when somebody comes up to the booth and they start asking questions, don't try to talk them into buying a blow dryer that they don't need. Listen to what they tell you. Listen to what they say. Give them something that fits what they really need so that you can build a customer for life. I could have made $1,000 on this guy, right? Nah. Today he bought a $50 item because I talked him out of that sale. Tomorrow he's gonna remember that, and he's gonna wake up and he's gonna, you know what, man? When I went to the booth, Eddie did me right. He could have sold me all the stuff I didn't need, but he didn't. He put me right, and from now on, I'm gonna come here when I need something.
That's a straight up sales 101, because you would think if you don't know any better that the good part would be like, yo, I got him for $1,000, and no, you actually listen so that you know how to direct your consumer. But now you have someone that's going to be loyal to you forever. So yeah, you may be lost out on that $1,000 sale on the front end and gave him a 50, but throughout that dude's career, he's probably going to invest all his money with you guys. So kudos for that. And if you guys are listening, I hope you took notes on that. You guys could sell me, or maybe if you want to sell Eddie for a little marketing bomb there. So check this out. I'm going to ask a question, and I hope it doesn't make you uncomfortable, Sam, but I think you need to understand the position that you've now put yourself, right? Because you're going to have, along with the hate, you're going to have some of these new artists that are coming in the game, and they're also going to start looking up to you because of what you've been able to accomplish with this partnership that you created here. So that being said, what advice would you give to artists if they're looking to work with brands like Stylecraft? What should they be doing? What questions should they be asking? How should they be conducting themselves?
That's a good question. I know for me, man, it's just wasn't. Again, I said this in the first podcast. It was when I first started Scalp Micropigmentation, I got into it for the money. I was like, oh my God, you can make $3,000 to $4,000 off one person. Let me try this out. And I was doing well, but then I felt like I hit a wall. And then I was like, you know what? Let me try to get better at what I'm doing, And when I focused my whole mindset of let me just get better and become a better artist and focus on my craft, that's when my career just took off. And also when I go in public or to these places, holding integrity, honor, making sure that I'm conducting myself at a certain standard. I'm not doing things crazy. All right. But really I just put my focus on just being a good artist and just holding honor and integrity. That's the only recipe that I can honestly say that worked for me, and busting my ass. Like, I don't think I was at CT, right? We had 23 signups. At the end of the class, I passed out certificates, and I'm about to read a name, and I literally am like, what the heck is happening to me? And I'm like, is that a tear? And I'm like, bro, I started crying as I was passing them out, because I've been doing this for 2.5 years, and there's people that work their whole life and wanting to be in the shoes that I had the opportunity of in. Me and Taylor Perry are the only ones that have ever done that. And to have a class that big, and me been doing this for 2 years and him 6, anywhere from 6, 7. So it made me emotional because I've been busting my ass for the last, 7 days a week. And 2 years, but I've actually been in this hair industry 10 years. So a lot of that knowledge comes into here, what doing SMP and knowing how to talk to people. And like Eddie said, is I don't try and sell you on a class. And I think people understand the integrity I have. I tell people all the time, if you're unsure about this, don't sign up. I really don't want you to. And if you're going to go, get your procedure done with someone else, just make sure that they're honest with you. They got a portfolio, or they say, hey, I'm just starting out. I just want to hook you up. Right. So with that being said, is busting your butt, really just working hard, focus on your craft. The money will come later. The exposure will come later. But if you really focus on just helping other people and just being better, I feel like people expect this crazy ass map that you got it, this and that. And it's really just straight on honor, integrity, work on your craft, and be a good person, and do what you say you're going to do. We're not perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I'll go back and I'll say, hey man, I fucked up. Excuse my language. I messed up, and I want to make things right. So that's what I could say to the people that want to become anything, sponsored, or open up a business, is just bust your butt, man, and work hard at being good at what you do.
Oh, that's great advice. Now, I want to hear it from the company's perspective. Eddie, what would you, because obviously, right, you guys are going to try to grow like any business would and be a powerhouse, probably going to put a team together. What advice would you give, whether it be seasoned S&P artists or up and coming S&P artists? What should they be doing to attract the attention of companies like you guys, like Stylecraft? What would you guys be looking for?
I think like a common misconception that people think is that you got to have all these followers and you got to be doing all these crazy things. Like we have a blueprint of how we find people to work with on a barbering level. We have an education team. They deliver education around the world. We are growing that education team and we have a whole process. And I can envision this happening for our S&P division as well, right? So as you start to grow as an individual, as an artist, as you start to put your stuff out there, you start to show up, you're at the shows. I think that's really critical. I think for anybody who's taking their business serious, there are times where you need to invest in your craft. You can't sit behind the chair doing the same cut on Joe every day, every week comes in and think that you're going to grow as a person. You're not, right? So what I would actually suggest people do is, start going to the show, start to invest in themselves, start to sign up for some of these classes. Even if you think you know everything, there are so many things I've learned, even when I'm teaching classes alongside of other people, that I bring back I bring that into my repertoire. Like I was on stage cutting with Victorino at the last show. He said something. I was like, really? That's how you do it? And right there on that stage, I locked that piece in, So for anybody who's sitting around just wondering how they can get themselves started, it's not like, oh, I'm going to fire off a DM to the company. I'm going to email. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, just post, just show up to the shows, just come and shake hands, make some friends, you know what I mean? And network. And that's what's so powerful about places like CT, Las Vegas Barber Expo, Orlando Premiere. We're here, we're here, we're out here. And, if you show yourself around and you start to kind of network with us a little bit, these are the people we reach out to first.
You got to be outgoing. And I'm going to jump in on that. You have to be outgoing. You can't be timid. And I actually used to deal with personally. I tell people like, "Oh, you a good speaker. You can step on stage. You cool." And I'm like, actually, I dealt with anxiety for a long time, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to stop that from succeeding where I want to be. And I literally seen E.T. the Barber in 2022 sitting in a hallway by himself at a hotel, and I was like, "Oh, he's wearing a Gamma shirt." I was like, "I wonder if he's going to a barber expo." I walked in and said, "What's up, man? My name's Sam." Da da da. That's how it all happened. Was just literally getting out there, just
introduction.
Some guy sitting by himself, and I just went up there. My boy Sway, Jose, he was like, "Oh yeah, he is. Let's go say hi." We just went up to say hi and genuine, just what's up. And then he was on stage at BarberCon. It was my first time ever being at an expo, like with my own booth. And that's how I met him. And then the rest was history. Do the class with him, met Austin.
It ain't hard to find, bro. We not hard to find.
Yeah, literally.
We got a lot of people around us. You got Big Chris over there. This dude's 7'5". You can see
yeah.
So just come up and talk with us, chop it up with us. And that's exactly how we make these, let me tell you this quick story. There's a barber, his name is Jay, right? This guy unpaid, he shows up to our booth and helps out, just answering questions for people, just there for us. After a while, we, just like 3 shows, he's just there, not being paid nothing, just wants to kind of be around us. Next thing you know, we're inviting him to dinners. Next thing you know, last show, Orlando, we had him on stage with us. We're like, you know what, man?
I was on stage with him.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. He's a
super
good
humble dude, man. I love him. He's cool. We still talk. Like since then, we still be texting.
That's what's up. And that's essential, I think, for anything always too. And again, I know it's you guys that we're looking to receive like that value on what should be done, but I'll just give my own 2 cents. And I think what a lot of artists, and at least from how I've gotten whatever sponsorships that I have now, is you got to learn how to also be able to provide value before you look for something back from a company. And I can't imagine that is any different for you guys in Stylecraft. And like the story that you just did, like, right, homie was at the booth doing his thing, putting in work, and boom, you guys picked that up and it was like, all right, well, he's able to do something for us. How can we make this connection work together?
Well, reciprocity, man. Like at a certain point, when you do enough for somebody, they're going to reciprocate. And that's just how life really is, And I just think it's so important that we get out there. Like what I love seeing this, what really is happening in the last couple of years, like barbers used to be so hood. They were like chip on the shoulder. They were like not
Yeah.
talking to each other, looking at each other like they some kind of competition. And then like, I'm telling you, man, you go to CT Barber Expo, it's like some magic in the air. It's
Yeah.
wild. It's like,
It's true.
There's a lot of ignorances that get checked in the door. I think they just know, like, yo, this is not the place to behave the way we've been behaving all year. You know what I mean?
It's true.
We need a little bit of that in the S&P industry, Sam. You need
100%.
to be able to change that.
I
Or
tell
not.
people like, let's just get some gloves and just get a ring and just
Why
have
you
a
don't
fun
like-
sparring match.
Why you don't like me? Because of my machine. Let's have 5 minutes, all right? And then we could be friends. Fine, let's box for 5 minutes.
For real.
So check this out, right? So now you guys got the machine, you got the shadow. Obviously, there's going to be some education that's going to need to come with that. And I pose this question because we have a lot of machines that are being offered to us in the industry, but we don't have a lot of education specifically to the machine. Now, my question is Stylecraft looking to change that? I can only imagine that you guys are going to be looking to put out some more education for us SMP artists, because there's so much more to a machine than just like, this is how you turn it on. This is how you go from 8 volts to 12 volts. Like some more really detailed, specific education. Like at 8 volts, this is what's happening with the needles. If you go too high, you start experiencing a little bit of shake, XYZ. Is that something in the future for Stylecraft, like that level of education?
Absolutely. So what we got, that's why Sam is like so mission critical, because we can't like, and it's not just, it's all S&P artists. It's very mission critical what we're trying to develop here. So Sam has the process to help get you certified cradle to the grave, but we also envision a future of us being able to share just a multitude of tips, little things that you can see. That's definitely going to be a bigger presence. That's something that we're talking about. You know, as far as like, we need to provide value to these people. It's just like a good YouTube video. I provide you good value. In exchange, you give me your time, right? And that's the handshake deal. And we want to do the same thing. It's just S&P is new to us as a company, and we're learning as we go. And you know, we're taking some of what we already know works with, you know, the clippers and the trimmers and the shavers and things like that. You know, and it didn't even really until Sam was telling me, because I'm not an S&P artist, and Sam was telling me, you know, we do a whole haircut a lot of times when we do this service, like when we show the final look, all this stuff. So it just seems like it's such a good hand-in-hand relationship, because we can provide you what you need to get the haircut down the scalp, get it down to a trimmer, do the actual haircut afterwards, and actually provide the S&P service.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, 100%.
I'm sorry, you were saying something? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
So to jump off that, I'll kind of answer the question. I kind of answered it or said it, spoke a little bit about it previously, was we're going to actually start sending out my team, Santana and Co., and we're going to start doing look and learns. So we're going to all across the country, actually. So starting next month, we're going to start doing that. So just little pop-ups at schools and distributor stores, and just, hey, this is what it is. And this is the thing, is who's selling these machines. That's where you got to start. You got to start that this is what the machine is. This is what it does. This is what scalp micropigmentation is. This is what PMU is. This is what tattooing is. So when somebody walks in, you know the product that you have, so that you can go ahead and sell that machine and educate the buyers. So actually, that's what we're doing next month. So I'm really excited for that, because that's going to really help the whole industry. It just helps everyone. So like you said, and right now, to be honest, we have no competition besides, you know, tattooing and PMU world. But as far as barbering industry, no. So I know that we spoke about it. It's something that's new, and anything that's new, like microblading, hair extensions, you know, a new clipper, a bald fade, all of that stuff was, you know, pushed back, and I don't know. And now with this, there's gonna be a little pushback, but there's also
it becomes a norm. Once it becomes a norm, then it's like, yo, these guys were the OGs of it.
Yeah, and so I think about it all the time when I hear, like, talk to Taylor in Orlando. I'm like, yo, how was it like 7 years ago? They're like, bro. They're like, now it's crazy, because even with me, I can literally like, hey, you know what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm an SMP artist. What's that? Now I'm like, I'm an SMP artist, and they're like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I'm like, you do? Like now it's kind of it's blowing my mind a little bit. So the education is key.
Yeah, for sure. And to I understand, you got this project going on for next month, but I want to hear from Eddie, what other like projects and initiatives do you guys got down the pipe to, further insert, your stylecraft into the industry, if you could speak to that?
Yeah, yeah. I can speak a little bit about that. Like me and Santana were talking about, actually visiting some tattoo conventions and things like that to try to kind of bridge that gap a little bit. What I've actually noticed, which is a little, because I get tattoos frequently. It's funny how the tattoo people, they like to kind of hold the knowledge in. They don't really want to share what they're doing with one another. In fact, I was talking to Heather, my girl, about this. And she's like, we don't put stuff on the internet. We don't talk about what we're doing because we don't want somebody messing somebody up in some garage. And really, it's like they're protecting that knowledge, and it seems like it's warranted, right? But I think with this, we need to find a way to safely spread that knowledge and give people some of the information to get them interested. But then we really got to get them in them classes so that we're not creating any problems like that. We want to make sure that we're walking that fine line between, it's different when I give you a barber clipper and you mess up somebody's hair. That's growing back in a couple of weeks. So we're aware of that as a company, and we're just kind of trying to find our lane to do that. So that's what I see. Our future, currently we're just looking for just different ways that we can do that and things that we could try to integrate into our process. And we have a lot of that stuff going on from the barber industry that's pretty transferable. But it's like I said, opening up these doors amongst artists, the toxicity that exists amongst these artists, like what you guys were talking about, was actually kind of a surprise to me, because I'm coming from Friendly CT Barber Expo, where everybody's looking to network with one another, and I'm hearing these stories, and I'm like, why would it matter?
Yeah.
Why would you worry? Like, why would you worry about what somebody else is doing? That's a feminine trait. Like, you need to worry about yourself. Like, men don't do this to each other. Like, for instance, do you talk bad about your coworkers? Do you say that guy gave him a bad haircut? I'm gonna go home and talk about you don't do that. I would never do. A true professional doesn't do things like this, right? So that's that's me speaking. That's not even the company speaking. That's just me speaking. A true professional doesn't talk bad on another person. So if you're secure in yourself, you're secure in your mission, you ain't got to worry about what everybody else is doing. It's just like Sam said, you stay in your lane, you get better at your craft, and if you build it, they're going to come your way,
Sure. That's facts right there. Before we wrap it up, gentlemen, starting with you, Eddie, can you let the listeners know if they want to find out some more information, whether it be about you, Stylecraft, and the machine, Instagram handles, YouTube, website, and then Sam, you do the same for me too, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. My name is Mr. Eddie Barber. If you didn't catch that towards the beginning of the podcast, my channel is the YouTube Barber Academy, and we are constantly dropping updates on machines, from clippers to trimmers to, as I get more knowledgeable, I might even bridge the gap and start doing some kind of like S&P breakdowns, at least on the machines. Yeah. I got so many things going on. I can't imagine learning how. I've been inspired. I have been inspired by you to maybe even give it a try one day. I just got to fit that in.
Would love for you. Yeah.
Well, Sway said he was going to hit me up.
I'm like,
come to the dark side.
I got to get some done.
Oh, hey, easy. Listen, you can't be preaching S&P and hiding under the hat.
Hey, I gotta get it done. I'm even willing to do it here. I'll never get rid of it here. But YouTube Barber Academy on Instagram. Literally, I just started that one too, so you could actually get a hold of me there. And Sam, you go ahead and tell them what's up with you.
My name's Sam Garcia. You guys can find me on Instagram. It's _SMP_G, or you can find me on my website, www.santanastudioco.com. Thank you again, David, for having us on the best podcast in the world. I appreciate it for PMEs, micropigmentation, and tattooing, man. It's always an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate the both of you for taking out the time to jumping on the podcast, helping with the announcing of the machine. I commend what the both of you are doing. It's incredibly innovative. Eddie, thank you for you guys, for showing love to the industry and seeing the light. Sam, brother, you took the lead on this, man. Congratulations, brother. Like I told you the last time when I spoke with you, I always keep it real with all artists. I'm never a hater, regardless of what I've done in the industry or who I am. I appreciate you, brother, and I'm proud of you, man. Keep going.
You, man. Appreciate
You're
it.
gonna do this shit, do it right, brother. Make us look good, man. You know, we looking at you, bro. We looking at you. I know you got some haters, but you got some of us that we're looking at you, bro.
No.
And it's not because of your muscles either, all right?
Now, one last thing though, if anybody's interested in the machine and anything like that, you guys can head over to Stylecraft's website. You guys can check that out. And also there's like a tutorial. There's a bunch of tutorials. There's a bunch of stuff on the website. You guys can look at our education tabs. You can see all the artists we work with, all their YouTube channels, all their stuff, and you can get a feel for whatever it is that you're looking for over there as well. So if you're there, or if you want to come and chop it up with us at one of the shows, we ain't hard to find. Come find me, come find Sam, come find one of our other artists, and we'll be happy to help you out.
When you purchase the machine as well, you get $1,000 off the training. So that's something that we got with Stylecraft. So just keep that in mind. In person and in the online, you get 1,000. So 1,000 on the in-person and 500 off the online. So keep that in mind.
That's if you purchase the machine, right? The shadow machine.
The code is inside the box. We built it like that.
And I got one myself, guys. I got one. I messed up because I was supposed to bring it on here to show you guys, but I'm not gonna lie, I was being a little selfish about it. I was like, hey, this is some content for me right here. What I might do offline is I'll talk to Sam and Eddie and see maybe we could do a live while I do a live tutorial and talk to you guys so you can see it from another artist's perspective. And you know, I don't have loyalty to Stylecraft, so I'm not obligated to, but I believe in my boy Sam, and I know he's not gonna send me trash.
Yeah, or if you want, that's what we could do. If you want, we could do a giveaway. We come on here, you're doing somebody, we'll do something, we'll do some fun thing, we'll do a giveaway,
let's put something together. We'll put a live together, we'll get some people coming, we'll announce that we're gonna be doing a giveaway. Maybe we could chop it up, throw in a couple of extras, you know, we'll make it work. We'll put something together.
You do me and I'll bring the machine, I'll give it away.
Oh, no one's gonna want to use that, man. That goes on, on right there. All right, with that being said, gentlemen, again, I appreciate you guys taking out some time, jumping on the Scalp Solutions podcast, dropping some gems. That's gonna wrap it up for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Until the next time, peace.
So feel me rain from behind. Black rain. Peace through the game. Black rain. Through the struggles and the strain. Black rain. Elements of mine. So feel the rain from behind. Black rain. Peace through the game. Black rain. Through the struggles and the strain. Black rain. Elements of mine. To feel the rain from behind. I'm sorta like a killer devil rebel. The getaway cars are the sounds of the bass and the treble. Cause I get into mine able and ready.